but you sleep in my clothes. No, it ain't right, I've been stressing at night. We're together, but I feel alone. How long do I stand here in the fire? How long do I try before I'm on my own? How long do I walk across the wire? Stay till we fall. Chaotic and say things we wanna take back. Is there a reason that we're still together? How long do we stand here in the fire? How long do we try before we're on our own? How long do we walk across the wire? Stay till we fall.
This isn't just merch, it's what teams wear when they mean business. Every stitch, every print, every detail, made to perform. Trusted by the grind, from grassroots to championship halls. Build your team store. Wear the brand that wins. SpartanWare, trusted by the grind.
This is Trophi.ai, an AI Rocket League coach, and it's absolutely crazy what you can do with this. If you've ever heard of ballchasing.com, it's a lot like that, but on steroids.
I can press P and a pro demo will come up, and this is what's so cool and so unique about Trophi, is that this is not seen anywhere else, and it's just a great way to kind of show you how to do a training pack without having to side by side watch a YouTube video.
And this is actually really cool. Training paths. So you basically, you know the skill trees from Assassin's Creed, Spider-Man, Sekiro, you know that sort of games where you have to, you get skill points, use them, you unlock new skills. This is sort of very similar, but instead of actually getting skill points, you're actually doing the mechs. And also a cool feature as well, guys, watch this. You can slow it down. You can actually slow-mo it like this. So if you're really struggling, what you need to do, you can actually look for yourself and just have a look at them exact sort of movements that you're doing there. Look, it's really cool. I really like it. And
Alongside helping with mechanics, it also has a feature that analyzes any of your saved replays. That way you can see what you're doing well and what you need to improve on. It even has this cool post-game analysis that you can see stats from the game you just played.
I'm the storm that meets the moon. I'm the sun that will not move. Do you think you are? Who do you
Welcome to the stream, everyone. We are back for day 2 of the RSC draft for season 17. I believe?
Yes.
Yeah, 17. Yes, RSC17. I'm Veld and I'm joined by Cha. And once again, we have the prize pool on our screen here, but we also have a draft waiting for us to get into. But before then, we just want to mention that we had a lot of people gifting subs or even subscribing yesterday, and we just want to say a big thank you to that. And if you want to do that today as well, then you're more than welcome to, and it's much appreciated. Cha, how are you doing here tonight?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Yesterday was a great day for the first day of the draft. Looking forward to this second day, see if any franchises can maybe remedy any wrongs that were made, any plans that went a bit down the drain yesterday. It's maybe fix those or get some good underrated picks here in this day too.
Yep. And don't think we have much more to discuss than before we head into this master tier. We have a lot of picks waiting to be revealed for you guys. So I think without further ado, if our producer behind the scenes is ready to get into it, I think we are as well.
Yeah, and we will start with pick 81, and it is Shadow on Death Cloud for 1945. Looking on that team around the same CMV as two of those players already, so some competition already for this Death Cloud roster, and at the first pick of Master Day too.
Yep. Next up, however, it's gonna be Bro Esports. They have pick number 82, and it's gonna be their 5th pickup, and it is gonna be Jeffo. And he is going to be competing with Leo Dano for that spot on the roster. Already looking pretty stacked on that roster, so sure they will welcome him in with open arms.
Yeah, and pick 83 will be Luke at that 1900 CMV, another low player there to compete with Kingy. Obviously, Serene being that team with the first pick in Jazz. So, very, very stacked team. Llama and Kyron on there as well, and looking very good for Serene.
Yeah, next up, Chrome Esport. Pick number 84 is going to be Cena 97, picked up at 1920 value. The lowest one on this team so far, so I'm sure that's probably a pick that they have done to maybe balance out the CMV a little bit. But next up, however, is pick number 85.
Yeah, and it will be Unitox, and it will be, I want to say Fracco. I'm not entirely sure. The X is kind of throwing me. 1905 CMV, so the same as Form and Bossy proving a bit of competition in that lower CMV range.
Yeah, next up, Aspire, going to be picking up Sylvia at 1975. Looking to add a bit of mid CMV range for this team as well. The highest 1900 so far picked up by these guys. And next up, we have pick number 87.
And it will be Dexterity, and they will be drafting Carol Howe at 1980. Exact same CMV as Pesky, so a little bit of competition there to be brewing, but added to their already stacked roster here for Dexterity.
Yeah, now SCR going to be picking up Enser. I believe might be the last 2200 being picked up in the tier. And it's going to be by SCR, and it is their highest pick so far. Gonna probably be competing with Slayer Crime for that top spot on that team. But next up, however, pick number 89.
Brave Esports will be picking up Curryman at that 1945 CMV value. Not too close to any of their players that they've already picked up, so maybe a different team comp option in mind for them. We'll see what their later picks in this day do bring, but a strong roster looking for them.
Yeah, next up, Good Aliens, pick number 90. They are going to be picking up them at 2020 CMV. Probably going to be competing with Envy if I had to guess, but you know, a lot of these players starting to add some options to their team, start to add some variety, maybe give themselves some more options going into the season.
Yeah, and pick 91 for DSQ is Matty at 2045, just above Sentry, and another 2K. They're only DSQ's second 2K of the draft for their 5th pick, so again, another balanced pick there for DSQ.
Yeah, next up, MPB, going to be picking up Berserk at 2170, their highest pick yet in this tier. And talk me through it, Chawa. What was the decision making here?
He's a high player. He's a good player. Next up is Nexus Esport. Cristiano at 1915 CMV. Same CMV as Fear, looking for a bit of competition on the lower end of that roster with Woolounds, Cal, and Jax on there as well for Nexus Esport.
Yep, next up is going to be Shadow Esports, going to be picking up Luke Capo at 2120. Probably going to be competing with Cavern if I had to guess, but you know, adding some more CMV in this team.
Yeah, pick 95 here for Mistaken Esports. It will be Geoxes, I want to say. That probably butchered that, but 2105 CMV. Their highest player so far yet, and maybe looking to add a little bit of more competition on that higher end. I'm sure he will be a very, very solid player for them.
Yep, next up, Azteca. They're going to be picking up Cashier as their keeper pick, 1925. Believe played with Kingsman and Cash last season until Cash had to go to Japan. Had a really good season up until that point. Didn't really get much out of it in the end though, but this team is looking to be something he built to maybe have a bit more success.
Pick 97 here for Neat. It is Goat Stye. It is 2200, and it is another 2200 for them. A bit of competition there for Jay, or maybe we'll see if he can steal that top spot.
Yep, next up, Giskasak being picked up by Illusory at 1970. Gonna be the second lowest player on that team so far. I'm sure he's gonna be buzzing about that. Next up, however, is pick number 99.
And it will go the way of Team Vortic, and they will be picking up solely at that 2200 CMV, a player that I'm a little bit surprised has fallen this late, but yeah, their highest player by quite a margin there, and we'll see if there's some team comp that they can fit in with if they do end up going in that direction.
Yep, next up, last pick of the round. It's gonna go to Berserkers, and they're gonna be picking up that snake. Looking like I was a little bit wrong when I said that it was gonna be the last 2200 pick early on in this round, and it looks like we are gonna have at least one more. But this is the second to last 2200 being picked up.
Yeah, and that does conclude round 5, and with that it will be Shadow, then Jeffo, then Luke, then Cena, Fracco, Sylvia, Karel Hau, Ensir, Curryman, Dem, Matty, Berserk, Cristiano, Luke, Geox, Cashier, Goatsty, Guzgazak, Soli, and Dasnik. I was struggling with some of the names there, but that is your round 5 in Master.
Yep, and then with that being done, I would ask you if there's anything that seems out of place for you, but I don't really think that we know that many players there. And you already mentioned one of them, going to be Soli. But without further ado, we're going to be moving into round 6. And first pick, it is going to be Berserkers. They're going to be picking up Yotam at 2145.
Yeah, and pick 102 here for Team Vortic. It will be Milo at that 1935 CMV. So they've got a couple players in and about there. Their 6th pick of the draft. And yeah, we'll see how that can stack up. Maybe a pick to pair with that Soli pick at max CMV.
Yep, next up, Haiku, 189. Going to be picked up by Illusory at that 1910 CMV mark. and will be the second lowest as well. Probably going to be battling with Murda to stay on that team come preseason. But next up, however, is going to be Neat Esports.
Yeah, and they will be picking up Arc at the 1910, another low player there in and around B97, and Milne in CMV alongside JR Dealinge and Goatstye. So Nate looking to have a very good roster here in Master.
Yeah, next up, Azteca going to be picking up RBNFK 04 at 1985 CMV. Going to be slotting in perfectly on that team, I believe. Next up, pick number 106.
It will go the way of Mistaken Esports, and Cosmanic will be teaming up with Kingsman Gas at 1960. Sure, he'll be delighted about that one, and he will be slotting into that Mistaken Esports roster.
Yep. Next up, Shadow Esports with pick number 107. And it is going to be 21 Nuxie at 2045 CMV. Going to be sitting in that 2000 CMV. Gonna have a lot of options to build around this person along with some others on the team.
Yeah, pick 108 here is going to be Ben at 1915 for Nexus. Their actual third 1915 player here in the Master Draft. So a lot of players in and about the same CMV. So a lot of heated competition at that lower CMV ranges for Nexus.
Yeah, next up, MPB are gonna be picking up Mark YK at 1925. Gonna be slotting in at the lower range on that team. A lot of options for that org, so far at least in this tier.
Pick 110 here for DSQ. It is reload at the 2020 CMV mark, and once again, it's another really similar pick for DSQ. They haven't, if I do my quick maths right, all of their players are within 55 CMV of each other, so a very balanced roster there.
Yeah, next up, Godalion's gonna be picking up Aiden at 2010 CMV. Really starting to add a lot of those 2K players on that team. Already have 2 of them in the first place, now 3. Next up, however, Brave gonna be picking up.
Sin Boward, I want to say it, 1960. Similar CMV to Curryman there, slotting in on that roster nicely and just giving them a bit more depth and a bit more options heading into preseason, which I think is what a lot of these teams will be focusing on.
Yeah, and next up, SCR gonna be picking up Giz Maestro at 1895. I believe that is Min and Master, and they already have Sweaty at that CMV. Now they're gonna have 2 in that CMV range. Next up, however, pick number 114, Joe.
Yeah, and it will be Dexterity and it will be DB2 at the exactly 2K CMV. And once again, another fairly balanced roster CMV wise. Not quite as close together as DSQ, but still more close together than some other ones we've seen.
Yep, next up, Aspire gonna be picking up Moscow for that 1950 price tag, and a lot of 1900s on this team. I
Yeah.
believe with that 2200, it might be a bit difficult to build a team around, so they're giving themselves a lot of options to do so.
Yeah, and you see the same kind of thing here with the 116th pick, Meeks for Unitox, 1895. Not quite 1900, but not far away. Again, with that 2200, you do need a lot of those solid low players in there.
Yep, next up, Chrome gonna be picking up JR Hogshead at 2110 CMV, giving Woozy a little bit of competition on this team.
Yeah, pick 118 coming in here for Team Serene. A very stacked roster is adding single Latico to their roster at 1940. So a little bit of competition with the likes of Llama, with the likes of Kyron even. And yeah, very interesting pick for them and a very interesting roster they have there.
Yep, next up, bro. Gonna be picking up Sebastian Rosa at 2200. I believe that will conclude our 2200s for this tier. Indeed, it will. I just confirmed. He's going to be going to Bro, so they're going to be enjoying picking up the last Max MV player.
Yeah, and the final pick of round 6 will be Grimjow at that 2035 CMV. They haven't really picked up anyone in that range so far, so maybe a little bit of a different angle there for this Deathcloud team. I'm sure he will look to prove himself throughout the preseason.
Yep. Next up, here's the summary for the round 6 of this draft. First up, Berserkers picking up Yotam, then Vortic picking up Milo. Illusory, they chose Haiku. Then Need picked Ark. Azteca, RBN, RBNFK04. Then was Cosmanic. Then was 21 Noxy. Then Ben. Then Marky K. Then DSQ picking up Reload. Then Aiden getting picked up. Then Sin Boward. Then SCR picking up Gizmaestro. Then DB2 going to Dexterity. Then Moscow going to Aspire. Meeks to Unitox. JR Huxet going to Chrome. Singolatico going to Serene. Sebastian Rosa going to Bro. Grimjow going to DevCloud. That is some interesting names to say out loud now that I go through them.
Yeah, this Master Draft Day 2 has definitely been challenging us with the names that we've been seeing here, but we'll see how they can do on the pitch in that preseason, if they can prove that they deserve a spot on those rosters. And I do believe we have a few more picks to go for in this round 7. A few more franchises will be adding just a little bit more depth to their rosters. And the first one to do that is Deathcloud with Feeks at the 2020 CMV mark. So similar to Grimjow and a little bit higher than their other players, and a solid pickup for them.
Yep. Next up is gonna be Bro Esports with a pickup. If the graphic chooses to update. There we go. Bro Esports picking up UV at 1970 CMV. And another mid-range option for them to build a team around. They definitely went a different route than, let's say, Aspire, who just picked up a lot of those mid-1900s.
Yeah, 123 here for Serene. It will be Spaka, exactly 2k CMV. And yeah, they've got kind of the same thing, a lot of those 1900 players. Spaka being a little bit on the higher end, so would need a few lower players to fit with them.
Yep, next up, Chrome Esports. Gonna be picking up Hammer Saints 10 for that 1975 CMV mark. And they don't really have a max CMV player, so they have a lot of options within this team. That will be their 7th pick of this tier.
Pick 125 here for Unitox. It will be Flavion at 1960, and they do have the max CMV, which limits their options a little bit, because you'd think that that is kind of a staple on any of these teams that do only have one.
Yep, next up, Aspire. Gonna be picking up Kinski. I don't know. Oh, well. Yeah, Kinski at 1960. Gonna be joining that Aspire team. Yet another one of those mid 1900s.
Yeah, Dexterity now 127. We'll be picking up Eman Zuz 7 at 1955. Absolutely brilliant name, and we'll see if he can be absolutely brilliant on the pitch come preseason.
Yep, next up, SCR. Gonna be picking up Precons for that 1945 CMV mark. And I believe that is the last pick of this tier in Master. And we will have a summary here, even though there isn't that many picks. But it was Feeks, then UV, then Specca, then Hammer Saints, then Flavion, then Kensky, then Imansu 7, then Precons being picked up last in the Master tier. But I'm sure that some of these players will find their way onto a team come this season, and we are gonna be looking forward to see how this season turns out for all these new players in the RSC.
Yeah, 100%. All these day 2 players will be looking to make a name for themselves and push into that roster come the end of preseason. But for now, that does conclude the Master tier draft. Everyone in Master has their teams for preseason. And next up, we will be going down one step to the Elite tier to see where those players will be going. We'll be right back after a very short break.
can talk, but you sleep in my clothes. No, it ain't right. I've been stressing at night. We're together, but I feel alone. How long do I stand here in the fire? How long do I try before I'm on my own? How long do I walk across the wire? Stand till we fall. We don't know how to act. We get chaotic and say things we wanna take back. Is there a reason that we're still together? How long do we stand here in the fire? How long do we try before we're on our own? How long do we walk across the wire? Stand till we fall.
I'm the storm that meets the moon. I'm the silent wind that moves. Who you think you are? Who you think you are?
Welcome back, everyone. I am here on the Elite Draft part of the stream. I'm Wild. I'm joined by Stealthy Wolf, and I believe this is their first time on the draft stream. So, how are you doing? Talk me through it.
Yeah, thank you, Wild. Yeah, it's the first time indeed through a draft stream. Been here in the past, of course, for normal casting, but that's also been greatly diminished over the years, due, of course, to a lot of time constraints. But it's good to be back. It's good to see as well what players are going to be picked up, and also something that we, of course, can point out, Wild, is all these people that are now in these next rounds are basically going to have to fight to beat those originally picked 4 players to prove that they're better than them.
Yeah, and that's pretty much always the funnest part of the season. Going into preseason, you see who survives, who can battle their way through from these lower pick rounds. Of course, we also have some keeper picks. They're probably gonna stay, depending on if the GMs want to stay as a player or not. But that is to come. Before we get into the picks, we have our prize pool on the screen, and that is all thanks to you in the community. All your donations, everything you do for us financially is what allows this league to be running. So big thank you to everyone that does so. But without further ado, let's get into the Elite Draft, Day 2.
Yeah, we're starting off with the first pick with Dan Six coming in at 1770. Has played in the RSC environment for quite a while. I even remember teaming with him like 1.5 year ago. So good to see that he's going up and up. I'm still stuck in Rival. He's already in Elite. Keep doing a good job.
Yep. Next up, Team Vortic gonna be picking up their 5th player, and it's gonna be Nemo. I believe that is a 0. So Nem0271 at 1815, gonna be paired up. The same CMV as Joris. It's gonna be exciting to see who makes it out on top out of that duo.
And then pick 83 coming in for illusory is Rapids. Rapids, of course, yeah, well-known player in the rivals. Spart finally promoted to the elite section again. Was always in a good position to basically be the contender, but good pickup.
Yep, next up, however, is Unitox picking up Fused at 1885, looking to add some competition for Eevee at that top spot. However, Eevee being picked up in round 2 might be a bit difficult to knock off the chair there, but Fused is definitely going to give it a go this season.
And for pick 85 for Azteca, we have Ali Kitten. Yeah, there's a lot I can say about Ali Kitten. I've played with her for a while. I've known her for 7 years, so it's a good pickup for the team.
Yep, I've also seen her play around and usually looks like a pretty decent pickup. Now NC at 1800, gonna be the second lowest on this team. Giving a little bit of options on how they want to build this team in their elite. But next up, however, is going to be MPB.
And coming up for MPB with pick 87, we have Stizxo. I think that's the way that you have to pronounce it. Coming in at 1845. Yeah, also in that middle section. So probably trying to see which ones fit best, what combination works best with Big Bad Wolf, Vessel, and Rilo, and then to see from there.
Yep, next up, Nexus Esports going to be picking up Lolle, or Lolly, I'm not sure. I hope I didn't butcher it, at 1790. And already have 2 players around that CMV. Actually 3 if you count Moppin as well, so a lot of competition on that team so far.
Yeah, and then Mythro coming through from Shadow. Of course, been around for a while, always playing in Elite as well. So makes sense that he's a keeper pick for the Shadow Esports franchise.
Yeah, and I actually spoke to them yesterday, and they got every single pick that they wanted in this elite tier. So hopefully he can make something happen in this tier this season. And next up, Dragon, gonna be pick number 90 from DSQ at that 1850 mark here. Gonna be joining Karen, Rico, Liam, and AR on that team.
And then for Godalians or Godalians, I don't know how you have to say it. I always butcher it. I always say it wrong one way or another. We have Dr. Fury coming at 1765, also on the lower end, similar to Luke P. But yeah, maybe they're not sure who they want as the lowest player.
Yeah, I believe it's Godalians. But next up, however, Brave Esports gonna be picking up Yogio 61466 at pick number 92, also in the lower end. And I think a lot of teams are just trying to get a lot of players in this lower end, like you said, just to make sure that they have the best option when they start the season.
Yeah, and then for SCR, we have Bentley 260 coming in at 1885. Definitely on the higher end, probably close to the max. I don't know the caps by heart, but it seems relatively close to it. So yeah, good pickup.
Yep, next up, Dexterity. Gonna be picking up Wojtisza. I think that's a Polish name. And I probably butchered it. 1870 CMV. Gonna be the highest actually picked up so far. It's a bit higher than that Dutch name that I can't quite make up because it's very small.
Yeah, and then we have Spyrix coming in at a solid 1800, right? Yeah, in the middle, or well, towards the lower end rather of Elite. So probably combating that same position with Wilkie, and so yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yep, and then Large Grady at 1785 gonna be picked up by Need Esports, and I do believe that this is the owner of the franchise. I'd love to see him getting picked. I haven't really spoken to him personally, but I've been in some message groups where he has been in, so love to see him join his team. Or at this point.
Yeah, I would be sad if otherwise if it didn't get picked. But for Chrome Esports, we have Joe coming in at the minimal for Elite, probably for that sub spot, or maybe a minimal player on the team. You never know.
Yep. And next up, Team Serene gonna be picking up Ashabeng at 1795. Gonna be pretty much the same CMV as Muggy, and I think since it's only 5 weeks of league play and you have to play 4 series with your sub. I think it's way more important that you get a good low pick rather than the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, and then of course we have the myth, the legend, Peeping Sheep, also one of the casters, of course, the keeper pick for Bro community, coming in at 1775, also towards the lower end, probably looking to be the sub as well on the team.
It might be Wolfie. I might be wrong with it. It might be free series. But next up, DevCloud. Gonna be picking up Ponas Vegas at 1880 at the higher CMB. But even if it's still free series, I think it's percentage-wise, it's more series overall that they have to play compared to last season. So still more important. And that will conclude our round 5 here.
Yeah, so for round 5, we had, of course, 20 people being picked up. First, we have for TBK, then 6, then Nemo, Rapids, Fused, Ali Kitten, NC, Stisk, So, Lolly, Mithril, Dragon, Dr. Fury, Yogio, Peeping Sheep, Ponnais Bentley 260, the Polish name, Spyrix, Large Grady, Joke, and Azabang. Yeah, you were struggling,
Yeah,
Veld. I
Yogi
was
in
like,
the
I'm not
chat.
gonna even attempt it.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. I see Yogi in the chat though, so it might just be Yogi. That it
Ah,
is
okay.
the way it's set. Maybe it's a zero. It probably is a zero. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
0 and
these
O's.
numbers on our screens, it looks exactly the same. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Oh, it is a zero. I only know this because I have a Google Sheet on the side where I can actually see if it's a number or a
Mhm.
letter. Okay. Yeah.
The more we know.
But that will conclude this round 5. And moving on, DevCloud having a pick right after the last one. It's going to be Bale as a keeper pick all the way up in the elite tier this season. Going to be interesting to see if he chooses to stay on this team. He's going to be the lowest CMV so far. No competition for him, except if he wants a bit of consistency throughout the CMV in his team.
Yeah, definitely not a bad choice, given the fact that, of course, if he feels confident in playing at that level, he can be a solid sub. But at that same time, we have for Bro Community Classic coming in at 1880, the absolute max. So probably gonna be, yeah, together fighting with Honk for that top position.
Yep. Next up, Team Serene. Gonna be picking up Easy God or AC God. I don't know. 1800.
Ascot is, I
Probably Easy
think,
God.
or if you know him from
Huh?
way back, Veld, is Shinxes.
Shinxes?
Yeah, that was his old username
Interesting.
way back. Yeah. And then for Chrome, of course, we have Pairs, Keeper Pick, also part, I think, of the management over there. So, yeah, 1765, lower end, together with Joke, maybe potentially looking for that sub spot, or, yes, giving it to Joke to play.
I didn't know Paris was all the way up in Elite now, making me feel old. I was prospect with him. Next up, Unituck is going to be picking up Wemit at 1770 here, and going to be the 105th pick of this tier.
Then 106 for Aspire Esports, we have IX Galaxy XI, probably just Galaxy, at 1795. Yeah, relatively in the middle. Snow, of course, being the lowest player, he's probably going to have to be fighting with Spyrix and Wilkie to see who is the best fit for that lower third of the team.
Yep. Yep. Next up, Semi Boy, going to be picked up by Team Dexterity here. 1800 CMV, right bang in the middle. Looking like a bit of competition between him and Denosha is going to ensue going into this preseason.
Then for SCR, we have Rev 135. I don't know if this is the same Rev as we've seen in the past. I might be wrong. But at 1885, he's coming, of course, in that absolute max spot, fighting against Bentley 260, which are basically back to back. Unsure was going to be the main player.
Yep. Next up, Brave Esports. Gonna be picking up Cameronk, I believe, 1790. Gonna be paired up with Yogi. Didn't butcher it this time. Hope you can forgive me. And Rolef. Both of those. All of those gonna be competing a little bit this time.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the beauty, of course, for draft as Goldalians pick up Clarky at 1765. Next to Luke B, also close to minimal. Same with Gamey. So it will be interesting to see which one of those three comes out on top.
Also Dr. Fury, so they have 4 options already.
Oh, yeah, I forgot
Next,
about that one.
yeah. And next up, Fendi 2K. Gonna be picked up by DSQ 1845. And really adding a lot of options on that team. Gonna be having Dragon, and there was two to three other people as well.
Yeah, it might be for a balanced team, but Team MVP picking up Zotu near to that minimal line at 1770. Of course, then fighting with Wavy for maybe that bottom spot, or maybe for a main roster pick so they can pick two higher players to be on the team.
Yep, next up, Nexus Esports gonna be picking up Ahmed SA at 1790. Also having been in the last three picks that they've made, also in the same CMV range. So a lot of options for these teams. It looks like everyone has the same kind of strategy where they want four people that they can choose between when the season starts.
Yeah, and then for pick 114, we have Brett GLFC coming in at the absolute max of elite for Shadow. Close to RMD. RMD, of course, being one of those people that you're looking out for, so it might be interesting what they do.
Yep, next up, Connor, gonna be picked up by Mistaken Esports, 1810 CMV. And once again, it's just more options in the CMV range that they already have a lot of players in. Looks like it's gonna be brutal in that mid range in this tier this season.
Oh, 100%. And there seems to be a lot of people there as well, as we now see Snow, of course, coming in for Azteca, relatively close to both Satu and Ellie Kitten and Rulebak Noodles. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah, he's probably going to sub himself, I assume. So we'll see.
Yep, next up, Oneiro at 1880. Almost max CMV, I believe, in Elite, or maybe even max. Gotta be the highest pickup from this team so far. Maybe adding a bit of a different option if their main team doesn't go out to work for them.
Yeah, that's something that every team, of course, have to do. You're trying to see which is the point that needs some replacement potentially, as we have D-Money99 coming in at 1775, also near that lower mark like Rapids. Rapids, of course, with a good history. So it will be interesting to see if D-Money can dethrone Rapids.
Yep. Next up, though, however, it's going to be Vortic with the penultimate pick of this round. It's going to be B Charlie 15 at 1805, deviating a little bit from the other values they've been picking up, but also a great pickup for them in terms of having options.
And then the last pick for round 6, we have Gloomy coming in at 1780. Second one, relatively close to that range. We, of course, had Dan 6 last round, so it will be interesting to see what they decide to do, because J-Webs is also close to it. So will it be Gloomy? Will it be Dan 6? Will it be J-Webs? We'll see, of course, after draft.
Yep, and to summarize this round, we had Bale getting picked up as a keeper on DevCloud. Then it was Classic from Bro, then Easy God, then Pairs as a keeper pick, then Wemmet, then Galaxy, then Semiboy, then Rev, then Cameron, then Clarky, then Fendi, then Soto, then Ahmed, then Brad, GLFC, then Connor, then Snow, then Oneiro, and then D-Money, and to finish it off, B Charlie and Gloomy. And that will summarize this round 6, but we have one short more round for you of the elite tier to finish off the last couple of players.
And the last couple of players in the lead that are going first to Team Berserkers, Yes Sire or Yes Siri at 1820, right in that middle again. And it's like you said, Vilt, it's a brutal section right there, right in the middle of Elite. You're going to have a lot of competition and you are not certain of your spot.
Yeah, it's going to be a fist fight between all the players in that CMV range. Now, however, it's going to be Avex being picked up. Only really has B Charlie to fight for that position, but it's also none of those players being picked up in the earlier rounds, so maybe that's not the main priority, but maybe they will make it the main priority if they're good enough.
I mean, it depends, right? Maybe these people didn't go to tryouts or anything, and they might surprise the teams, as we have Carl XM coming in at 1820, right in the middle section again, like you were talking about, against Fisher and the last other one I forgot already.
Yeah, it was Callum getting picked up from Illusory, and here we have Keksiju being picked up by Neat at 1785. Also a lot of competition. And as we get closer to the end of this year, we just see more and more people at the same CMV ranges. It is going to be a bit rough, but I think everyone's going to have fun trying to make their teams.
Yeah, and of course, also somebody who has been around for a while, Lovely Cans, 1815. I even remember him from back in the days when it was ERLS. That's a long, long way back. I think that's a solid 5 years. So it's good to see that he's still around and still playing in Elite.
Yep. Next up, Dragoo. Gonna be picked up at 1785. Another pick close to that min mark. Not quite there, but it's gonna be a bit of a tough spot, I believe, being this close to the bottom of the tier, but not really. So it's a fishy spot to be in.
And to round out the last pick for Shadow Esports, we have Jacko RLL at 1800 once again, right towards that middle to lower section, having to combat, of course, against Mithril, who is, of course, a keeper pick. It's going to be a rough one for Jacko to prove his worth on that team and to show why he needs to be there.
Yep. And that will conclude our elite tier of the night. To summarize this last round, it was Jesire, I believe, Avex, Callum, Keksiju, Lovely Kens, Dragoo, and then Jaco RLL. And that will summarize the elite tier tonight. I have been Veiled, and with me has been Stealthy Wolf. I believe you will be here again for the next tier. However, this will conclude me for now.
Yeah. I think it will be Shattered, though. So, return of Shattered, but I'll be back later. So don't worry. I'll be here.
Yep. So without further ado, we will go on a short break, but we will be back with the rival tier for you very shortly. Thank you for joining in for this elite tier, though, and we will see you later on.
I never know when to go. Don't even talk, but you sleep in my clothes. No, it ain't right. I've been stressing at night. We're together, but I feel alone. How long do I stand here in the fire? How long do I try before I'm on my own? How long do I walk across the wire? Stay till we fall. We don't know how to act. We get chaotic and say things we wanna take back. Is there a reason that we're still together? How long do we stand here in the fire? How long do we try before we're on our own? How long do we walk across the wire? Stay till we fall.
Welcome back, everyone, to the day 2 of the RSC17 draft. We're into the rivals here, and once again, just as yesterday, I am Char, and joined alongside me is Shattered. Shattered, how are you doing?
I am doing exceptionally well. Yesterday was already a very nice day, and I once again have the honor to be beside you, so it could not be any better.
It could not indeed, and yeah, I don't think we have too much more to discuss. Master and Elite have been wrapped up, and we will get into wrapping up the rival draft here for the day 2. The last players getting their franchises, and pick 81 will be going to Mistaken Esports, and it will be Dopamine at the 1685 CMV mark. So some direct competition there with Coben to add some depth to that roster.
Very well. So, next up with pick 82, we have Azteca Esports, and they are going for Zuxify 1720 CMV, so he's kind of competing with Selfie Wolf, who you just saw early on. But also quite interesting to see him only go away on day 2, considering he got third last season in playoffs. So very interesting to see what they build with him, because it seems like he knows the ball.
Yeah, Neat Esports will be taking Biz at the 1755 mark. Another high CMV player to go alongside Conflict and Ish, so I'm sure they will be battling it out for those places on this Neat roster.
Illusory next, 1760 CMV, Woozy Panda, their highest player yet, interestingly, on day 2. I don't know where to start. He has so many achievements in this league. Like, for example, he was player of the season back in season 6. So he's also a well-known player, very good at the game as well.
Team Vortic here will be picking up Senko at 1715. My Chally teammate a few seasons ago, and moved up here to the rival tier, looking to make some competition with Lantern there on this very stacked Team Vortic roster, their 6th pick of the draft.
Team Vortic looking very Portuguese with all those players. Extra Mario, on the other hand, 1735 CMV, picked by Shadow. He has not been on a team yet, if I remember correctly, from Belgium. So, as yesterday, all the new players, he has a lot to prove.
Pick 87 is Hazard here at that 1745 mark. Same CMV as Jamzo, just 10 below Seam as well. So a little bit of competition for their round 1 and round 2 picks. Akmo and JRI is on that Deathclad roster as well.
Next up, bro, fittingly picking Lolenizer 1680. Why fittingly, bro? The South African orc, picking a player also from South Africa, has played in that region before, not yet in EU. So let's see if he's able to be better here, maybe. Bring the South African flair.
Pick 89 will be Meaty Pig 999, the keeper, the GM of Team Serene. We all know him, whether we all love him or not, I'm not too sure, but 1690, great value pick there for Team Serene. I'm kidding, I love Meaty Pig.
Next up, Chrome Esports pick 90, and they pick up Sheesh 4018 on 1685 CMV. They are by far lowest player this far. They picked quite a lot. Average to high players now, and building their roster fully now. Also a new player to the league from Netherlands, so as before. Let's see what he's able to bring into the league.
Pick 91 here for Unitox. It will be Henrik at that 1735 mark. So same CMV as Azamil there, and as Strafe actually. So 3 players of the same CMV. Some heated competition on Unitox this season.
Next up, Aspire, they pick 1690 CMV Veka. He has not had the greatest season last season, finishing 10th in league play, if I remember correctly, with Nina. So Aspire may be trying to still get last places in some of the tiers like last season. Just kidding. They will do good.
And pick 93, I don't think we even need to talk about this pick. This is possibly the worst pick I've ever seen in an RSC draft of my life. It is shattered. It is the keeper pick. If Dexterity is the man right below me, horrible pick.
Yeah, I would agree. That's why SCR did not pick me, but instead 1760 CMV Ethan. Also, I don't think on a team before, but played as a sub from England. Fittingly from the same country that the football club the logo is based off of, if you didn't know already, from SCRs.
Pick 95 here. It will be Trixie at 1735 for Brave. Just a few CMV above Josh and Kenzero there, so bit of competition in that mid-range for this Brave roster, but a very decent looking roster for Brave in the rival tier.
Next up, God Alliance, pick 96, and they decide to get Nolleran 1705 CMV. He played actually for my challenger team last season. They didn't do too bad. Almost, like, they got second in league play, so that's very good. And now he moves up to rival, so let's see what he can do here.
Pick 97 for DSQ. It will be Bogey, I want to say. 1750. Only their fourth pick of the draft, so a little bit behind on the picks, but they have a keeper pick coming up who I'm sure will make up for that.
And next up, Team MPB pick 98, and they decide to pick Bonacy 1715 CMV. Also a rather known player, I think first time playing in season 4, maybe 3 even. So I'm not sure if he won. I don't think he won actually. So maybe this season is his.
Pick 99 here will be Nexus Esport, and it will be Eitcams at 1705. Same CMV as NAD, so a little bit of more competition on the lower end of the CMV spectrum for Nexus Esport.
And following that up, Team Berserkers with pick 100, picking the worst possible player left on Catroid. Unfortunately, they have to because he's a keeper pick with 1685 CMV. Nah, just kidding. Catroid, nice player to play around. Also a very well-known GM. And do you want to bring us through the summary?
Yes. Pick 81 starting us off was Dopamine. Then we moved on to Zixify, Biz, Woozy Panda, Senko, Extra Mayo, Hazar, Lolanizer, Meaty Pig, Sheesh, Henrik, Veka, Shattered, Ethan, Trixie, Nollerin, Bogey, Bonesy, Eitcams, and Petroid to round off your round 5. And one thing I do want to say, I was quite disappointed yesterday when I didn't get to flame you as a keeper pick, so I'm glad it happened today. I'm glad we're both on the rival draft again today.
Oh yeah, that's obviously why I also brought you. I gave you the opportunity to take the odd numbered picks.
Thank
Because
you,
obviously,
I appreciate it.
yeah, no problem. But as we have a few more picks to go, I don't think we have a full round. I'm not 100% sure to be fair, but I think we can move to pick 101, which is also Shadow. Wait, that's not also. We had Team Berserkers lastly. We ignored it. Shadow Esports picking Denspeedo 1715 CMV. Also a rather new player, has played a few sub games before from the UK, but Shadow knows what they're doing and he will be fighting for a spot in their roster.
Yeah, Nexus Esport next up, picking up Booth at that 1710. So another one a little bit on the lower side, but still a decent way into the tier. Rival, quite a close together tier in CMV altogether, and Booth, I'm sure, will be a solid pickup for them.
Yep. Next up, we have Team MPB, and they pick Jakey underscore 1740 CMV. One of the highest, no, actually the highest player on the roster this far. He was on the same team I mentioned earlier, Mali. No, wait, that's Chimali. That was the lower one, I think. But he also got 10th in league play, just like another one we had earlier. So yeah.
Pick 104 here for DSQ. It is Abdul Coder, the keeper pick, the min keeper here, the min AGM. Solid pickup for them, and we'll see what he can do this season.
Team God Alliance, pick 105, decide on another low player, Billy 1680. He will probably be fighting for a spot together with Evoke, or maybe they plan on keeping both and not pick the highest players. We'll see.
Pick 106 here will be Oi Boy at 1725. Same CMV as Josh, around Trixie and Kenzero as well. So more competition in that mid range for Brave, looking very stacked there in that mid range of CMV.
SCR next pick 107, and they pick True Ball 001. Actually, it's not 001, it's True Ball Leo 01, 1685 CMV. Probably will be fighting for a spot together with Jo. So we'll see who of them two makes the cut.
Dexterity now will be picking up Nemo at 1710 here. He'll be devastated the team was shut. No, I'll stop. I'm not going to say that. Nemo, great pickup for Dexterity here and will be their 6th player on the roster.
Nah, no one wants to play with me. That is actually fair play. But Aspire, they want seemingly to play with iJakey, 1710 CMV. He will be not necessarily fighting with anyone as it looks right now. He might actually have a pretty good spot in their team. Also has not played in the league before, new player. So easy for him.
Pick 110 here will be Kron at the 1725 mark for Unitox. Solid pickup for them, adding just a little bit more depth and a few more options for them to build their roster with.
Following them, Chrome Esports pick a 1-1-1. They decide for just 40. GZ40. 1725 CMV. That number I can actually pronounce properly. Pretty middle of the pack, and also a new player.
Yeah, pick 112 here is Light with a lot of T's. 1750 CMV, quite a high player in there. Maybe a bit of competition for their round 1 pick, Ben Allman. But yeah, we'll see if he can prove his worth and force his way onto that roster.
Rose next pick will be Nixis Vascherer from Croatia. That's all I know because he's also a new player to the league. And with that name, he's gonna be a lot of fun for casters like Char.
Pick 114 here will be Robot. I don't know how he wants me to pronounce the last name, so I'm just gonna leave it out. 1700 here, fairly low, but not too low there, providing a little bit more depth for Deathcloud on a very stacked Deathcloud roster.
Pick a 115 Blizzwiz BS 1760 CMV. That's very high. That is their highest pick, and it's very late. So maybe they knew that no one else wanted to pick them. Maybe it's one of those hidden gems people talk about. Let's see how he can perform.
Yeah, pick 116 here will be Mojomo at that 1705 CMV for Team Vortic, their 7th pick of the rival draft. So stacked there. And Shattered, take us through the last pick of the draft.
Of course, Illusory with the last arrival pick of this season, picking up Twitch Lesepi 1720 CMV. They only have 6 picks this far. Also, Lesepi, fun fact, he's from Malaysia. I think the only player to be so. So let's see if Illusory want to have as many different countries on their team as possible, because with him they have a very good shot at it.
This is why we get you in, for all the random fun facts that no one else would know. That does conclude our round 6 of the rival draft and the rival draft as a whole. And that was Denchby starting us off. Then we went on to Booth, Jakey, Abdul Coder, Billy, Oi Boy, Trueball, Nemo, iJakey, Kron, Giz40, Light, Nixie was here, Robot, Lewis, Majomo, and last but not least, Lesepi. That does conclude our rival tier. Shattered, as a player in the rival tier, how are you feeling about that rival draft overall?
I am feeling very well because my roster is looking very good. But in general,
Good to hear.
oh, I like my roster, but it's also my roster, so I gotta say that. But generally, I would say we see a lot of interesting teams. We have a lot of teams like from what I saw, a lot of teams where there's like very experienced and new players mixed, which is always very nice to see. In general, a lot of new players, which is also nice to see, and quite a few from the SSA region. So differently than, for example, a Shadowed or an E, who infiltrate the SSA league and try to win games there. There's now more South Africans coming up and trying to win some games here.
Yeah, and maybe some of these unknown players, these new players, can be some hidden gems picked up on this day two. That is always what franchise will be looking for on day two. Some hidden gems, some picks that not a lot of other franchises would have been looking for that turn out to be some great ones. But with that, that does conclude our rival draft for this season. We are halfway through the draft day two. Next, we will be moving on to Challenger. Thank you very much for tuning in, and make sure you don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the Challenger day two draft after a very short break.
This isn't just merch, it's what teams wear when they mean business. Every stitch, every print, every detail, made to perform. Trusted by the grind, from grassroots to championship halls. Build your team store. Wear the brand that wins. SpartanWare, trusted by the grind.
This is Trophi.ai, an AI Rocket League coach, and it's absolutely crazy what you can do with this. If you've ever heard of ballchasing.com, it's a lot like that, but on steroids.
You can press P and a pro demo will come up, and this is what's so cool and so unique about Trophi, is that this is not seen anywhere else, and it's just a great way to kind of show you how to do a training pack without having to side by side watch a YouTube video.
And this is actually really cool. Training paths. So you basically, you know the skill trees from Assassin's Creed, Spider-Man, Sekiro, you know that sort of games where you have to, you know, get skill points, use them, you unlock new skills. This is sort of very similar, but instead of actually getting skill points, you're actually doing the mechs. And also a cool feature as well, guys, watch this. You can slow it down. You can actually slow-mo it like this. So if you're really struggling, what you need to do, you can actually look for yourself and just have a look at them exact sort of movements that you're doing there. Look, it's really cool. I really like it. And
alongside helping with mechanics, it also has a feature that analyzes any of your saved replays. That way you can see what you're doing well and what you need to improve on. It even has this cool post-game analysis that you can see stats from the game you just played.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the second day of the draft here in the Challenger tier. I was here with you last night for Challenger and Prospect along Archon, but tonight I'm with a new face who I've not ever been on the mic with before. It is Stealthy Wolf. How are you feeling?
Hey, but thank you for announcing me again. I've been here before, of course, with Veiled for Elite, but yeah, it's the first time that we're here together. I'm doing good. I'm feeling great. And I'm excited to see who are these last picks, of course, for Challenger, because we said it as before as well with Elite. It's basically these people that need to show to the management, like, hey, okay, we might not have been picked in the first 4 rounds, but we're here to play. We're here to prove that we can be the difference maker for your team, and we deserve that spot after the entire preseason.
Completely agree. We've seen in the past people who have been drafted quite near the end have ended up being quite standout main players on their roster. So anything can happen in the draft. If you're being drafted on day 2, don't be upset about it. You have your time to shine in the preseason to prove to the management why you should stay on the team in the final 4. Or if you don't stay there for the whole time in preseason, maybe you get a good cut note and go to another team that will value your skill level and potential for your tier. But I think we should just get into it. I know people are waiting, people are hyped, people want to know where they're going to, as everyone is guaranteed to be drafted to a team. And we'll see who's the first pick for day number 2. Starting off with Azteca Esports at pick 81. Yukiro at 1575. And this is where we will see in day 2 quite a lot of low picks as well. People trying to secure those main rosters in the first day. And you kind of need that cheap player if you're going for that high build. And I believe with Yukiro, to me, it's at least a very new name to the league.
Yeah, also not somebody that I've heard of before. And as it is, Nexus Esports now picking Season at 1620, right in that middle section of Challenger as well, of course, competing with Luke Voss, who has been around for a while, so it might be hard for him to earn that spot in the main roster.
Well, definitely not the last pick, but for Team MPB, already a stacked roster from day 1. He will be joining this roster at 1605. Definitely has a lot to prove to get onto this team because Yak had a great season last season. Hunter Sam, Rubik's, very veteran players in the league, and I'll see Glossy, who also did well last season. But moving on to pick 84 on DSQ.
Yeah, next we have Bloody Guard coming at 1595 towards that bottom end of Challenger, of course. In a good position to be that lower third man in the team, but he has to prove himself.
It goes to pick 85 at 1650. It will be Matty. Did play last season for Team Serene. Also played the most with Stones, who is a notable player within the league. So we'll see how he can show that potential in the Challenger tier alongside with Nitch and Sir Pegasus and a couple of others. But on to 86 for Brave Esports.
Yeah, pick 86 is Borsville for Brave. Very interesting that he's coming so late to me because Borsville, back in the day when we had the cross league competition, he actually did really well, even beating tiers above him. So it's quite interesting to see that he goes in the 5th round.
And here is Killer Goose, will be a name that people will know within the league at 1585. His team did make the playoffs last season, but unfortunately he was on the bench watching his team. Hopefully this season he can wiggle his way onto the main roster and prove why he should be, but onto Dexterity.
Yeah, next is Platoon Peaky 464 coming at 1570, right at the bottom end, and competing with Lucas as that. It's going to be a tough competition. Lucas has been around for a while, also a well-known person in the entire Rocket League community. So he will need to show what he's made of.
Cyanic. Now, this is a name that I remember from way back when, but I mean, you got Chicken Nugget on the team. It's going to be a tough spot to go for it. 1620, has played for 20R in the past, Illusory, and recently for Sanctuary, but already moving on to Unitox at pick 90.
Yeah, at pick 90, we're getting Max C at 1580 at the lower end of Challenger. Used to be part of management in different organizations in the past, now deciding to go through draft this season. So trying to shake things up, and he is, of course, towards the lower end, looking for a good position for sub in this roster.
Moving on to Chrome Esports, Slay Dabs did play within the ERS seasons, most recently for Visionary. Obviously, who aren't here this season. Has played the most with Oliver MH and Aruth, who we've seen in the lower tier. So maybe Slayer Dabs can bring that chemistry up to some new teammates here for Chrome Esports. But on to pick 92.
And talking about new teammates, we also have a new face in the entire competition, GDN, coming in at 1640 for Team Serene. Yeah, as I said, new face, hasn't been around in the RSC community yet, so want to see what he can do.
It's not Steph Curry, but it is just Steph here for Bro Community. No information really on the league, except for was just played with Tremaldinho and Oreo Maker for a series. So probably subbed in for a series and now getting himself into the league here onto Bro Community, fighting for a spot with Hakari, who was known as a pretty decent player last season.
Yeah, and next we have Salmir coming at 94 for Death Cloud Esports. Towards that lot, English is hard for a second. Bottom half, trying to be the sub maybe on the roster.
Moving to Team Berserkers, they always do scout out some unrecognized players, and it is a new player to the league, so I can trust in Team Berserkers that this is a player to watch out for. It's 1675 though, getting a nice high pick in day 2. You never know what can happen with these high picks. They're literal hidden gems.
Yeah, now we still have keeper picks coming out in round 5. Blaze A coming at 1585 towards the lower hand. Probably looking to be the sub in the team, or maybe trying to dethrone Moonface and saying, no, I'm going to be the third, you're going to be the sub. Who knows? We'll see what happens there.
On to the next pick at Illusory for pick 97. It will be Oliver MH as the keeper pick. Has got a great roster on paper here. Rollenator, Hoggy, Butt Snorkeler, and Freshmint. Intrigued to see how this roster will turn out, especially with the keeper pick with 2 other low players. Intrigued to see who is kind of really making that cut, but very experienced in the league, so I'm sure it will go well. But on to Nate Esports.
Yeah, and next for Neat, we have Salt Skiger at 1640. Salt, as of course, has been around for quite a while, has worked his way up from the lower leagues up until Challenger right now at 1640. Definitely looking good for him, and he will have to contest with Saturday for that top spot.
For Azteca Esports, it will be George with a $1 in the end. No information on the league that I can see of, so probably a new player to the league. But it's 1625 will be picked up here to a well-recognizable franchise, so obviously might see something in him, or maybe it could be a random pick. But on to pick 100.
Yeah, pick 100, your teammate Buddha for this season, potentially a Sam at 1570. Of course, the lower end, maybe it will be the sub. You, of course, have more insider information than I do. But again, preseason is preseason. You don't know either.
I do not know. Anything can happen. I know I needed a low substitute, so we have picked up Sam. And look, these are the roundup of the picks. As you can see, majority of the high players are pretty much going. I'm pretty sure there's still a handful left to go within the future rounds. So we'll see how that picks out for some franchises. Any big names here that stand out to you, maybe who should have gone too late, or maybe some players you want to keep an eye on?
Well, I was already talking about Solskjaer, of course, being around for quite a while, definitely stepping up over time. That's interesting. And of course, the keeper picks coming out at round 5. I understand it, of course, for some of them, they're quite low, so they're probably like, okay, if we get picked somewhere else, we're probably not going to play, or we might be the sub anyway. So there's very little damage that we can do. But yeah, that's my main thing that I'm looking at, and also like one name that also stands out is Slayer Dabs. Also recognize the name, has been around for a while, and at 1585 might be quite the steal or the hidden gem, like you're saying, but.
Yeah, could be a potential still here in the Challenger tier. Who knows? But, season by season, the caps always slightly end up going higher and higher. So who knows what could happen? Maybe they could be very undervalued, or maybe they could just struggle a little bit more. But we'll find out in the season. That's what the preseason's for. See how they perform and see what the rosters will finally decide. But as we'll slowly move on to round 6, I mean, I'm rooting for Matty here. Same name as me. So I'm rooting for him to be a great hidden gem. But, I mean, we've already talked about Sam. But going on to my next pick, we have gone for Lizify at 1575, another low pick. Just trying to, get some options here for that 4th spot. Don't want to put all my eggs in one basket on my IRL friend who just could say no to me because he can.
Yeah, that's definitely not going to be a good case. And at the same time, you give yourself a good position to maybe trade away some subs that might be worth it. And as well as Tekka takes a demo O at 1575. Of course, all the different letters for the A's make it quite hard to pronounce it. Hopefully, we get something sorted for that, as he might appear on stream. We never know.
Personally, I would have just given up and said Adam. That's what I would have done. But respect for you trying. I respect it. But on to Freaksy here at 1600 for Nate Esports. Has played for Dexterity in Season 15, playing the most with Jom and Smolka, some reputable players most recently. But on to Illusory with their next pick.
Yeah, and the next pick is The Beast. quite an epic name, of course, coming at 16-20, right smack dab in the middle of Challenger. Has to prove himself why he would be that second player, because he has to, of course, fight Bud Snorker, which was a second round pick, meaning that the organization already has a lot of faith in him.
Well, Team Vortic will be RSS Owen with a cheeky underscore at the end, coming in at 1570 in season 16. Played for Sister of Solaris, but only for 16 games. So by looking at it, could have just been sub-series games. So maybe this season could be another sub-season again, or maybe proven the low-value main player here. But onto Team Berserkers.
And Team Berserkers go with another higher pick in the Challenger, and they already have Azazel, they already have Mac 2322, and they take Marcia, probably something meant like that, in that same range.
I'm so glad I'm not getting these names. I am horrible at pronouncing names. So this one I can say. Hunter RV coming in at 1645. A player who's kind of been on the rise recently, was like kind of really at the low end of the lower tiers, slowly risen up. You know, I think he was Chally last season, maybe the season before. So it could be a good pickup. I'm excited to see how he does this season. But on to Pro Community.
Yeah, Bro Community taking maybe a hidden gem again. Somebody that hasn't been in the league before. Chao coming at 1575, right at that sub MMR. But maybe he might be that third that they need.
Coming in for Team Serene. It's not just Rapid. It's Rapid 4-2-1 coming at 1650 for the data scene. It could be a new player to the league. So it'd be interesting to see. Could it be a nice late pick of a hidden gem? Who knows? Only Team Stream will know in the preseason stage. On to Chrome Esports.
Yeah, Chrome Esports sticking up red at 1650, right at a higher end again. And yeah, that will be quite a tough competition. We already see Bonen, we see Panda himself, and we see Lynx right at that same range. Maybe they're trying to go for two higher players and then taking a very, very low player to round it out, or there might be some competition there.
Not too sure this might be someone who loves Subway, but has named himself Seafoot Long. Will be drafted to Unitox. Another player with no data. They seem to be getting a lot of new players recently to the league. You love to see it. So we'll see how they will perform for Unitox in preseason.
We're talking about new players, but and I right back in another one. We have Wilfred TTV at 1605, and again, no information except for his MMR, and that he might have to compete against Chicken Nugget, which is still a lovely name.
I mean, I love chicken nuggets, but I've got the belly to prove that. So, you know, yeah, but you're not big like me. On to dexterity, Clavs. We'll go Clav. Oh, we'll just say Clav. Again, another player with not really a team history. Has played a series with Rubik's and Yak. So I think he's got, you know, a nice little sub game in, just subbing in at 1585. Another low pick for dexterity. But on to SCR Esports.
Yeah, next we have 909 Lucas at 1675, higher end of Challenger, almost would have been rival, but yeah, didn't make the cut. So definitely going to be a high pick here, potentially looking to be that main player for the team.
Onto Brave Esports, Smolka, definitely a name I recognize recently, has always been kind of a good value player. Moving up here at 16-15 for Brave. We'll see how that turn out as we'll be maybe looking to fight against Borsville and Leighton. Very strong players, especially Leighton, who I think has just moved to PC recently. So definitely a tough challenge.
Yeah, next we have another nice food item, but we have Noodle coming at 1625. I don't know if 1625 MMR is worth the noodle for you, but it's quite delicious. Good pick for Godalians, returning player as well from season 11.
I think Dylan just felt hungry and just fought the big noodle. I think that's what he did in the draft room. I think that's what he's done. But DSQ with Jack F777 here at 16-15. A player with history playing 33 series with Avelios, who we all know as kind of that mid-range player. So maybe we can bring that talent here down to Challenger, but onto MPB with their pick.
Yeah, and MVP taking another high player at XTPR at 1670. Will have to be contest Yak, which we see that was the first pick for the team. So maybe they take him to trade, maybe they take him to have an other option if Yak falls through.
I don't think Yak will. We all know him from last season, pretty much dominated playoffs. But Spooks here at pick 119 at 1675, the highest player on this roster, which is arguably one of the stacked drafted rosters so far. So it'll be a very difficult challenge to make the cut. But on to Shadow with pick 120.
Yeah, and lastly, we have, of course, is Manir at 1670. Buddha, why are you giving me all these hard names, man? You knew ahead of time, surely.
I mean, technically, I did draft my players, so I might have just calculated it. You know, just big brain, big brain. But round 6, here is the summary for the players just tuning in, or maybe if you just don't know everyone that got drafted. Here are your picks for round number 6 in day 2. Plenty of names here, and I can quite happily say there is a good handful of new names here.
Yeah, we said it. There's a lot of people that we don't even know any stats about, but one thing that stands out to me is Spooks. Yeah, we know Spooks quite well as a commentator as well. Interesting that he is 1675 now. Probably didn't touch the game for quite a while.
I think if you're a caster playing at max tier, I think what you got to do, Spooks, when you're playing your game, just cast a game at the same time. Just bring the entertainment, trust me. Your team will definitely love it. They definitely won't get tilted that you're constantly shouting down their ears as they try to concentrate. I don't think they'll mind, let's be real. I think they'll definitely keep you if you do that.
Well, yeah, that should be the case. But of course, that rounds up round 6 that we saw from the side from Challenger. And now pick 121. We have Inflict going first for 1635 for Shadow. Right in that middle again. Maybe, yeah, a potential replacement for Tank if Tank doesn't feel like he wants to play with the team that has been drafted so far from Shadow.
Well, if you're Shadow, you're hoping Tank does because he was the first pick. So for Shadow's case, I hope that's not the situation. But pick 122 for Team Nixus, the angel that fell. Wow.
Poetic name.
Just hit my heart. Oh my god. Either way, no information.
Did it fall on your heart?
Yeah, just call me. Just call me.
Damn.
Just call me off guard. But anyway, Team MPB. We don't care about my feelings.
Yeah, so Team MPB picking up the last player that is new to the league. TP Electro coming at 1605. Yeah, a lot of new players, as we saw as well in the last round. And it's good to see that we end the night with a new player as well, still getting a chance, of course, because of the lovely system that is called Draft.
Oh, yes, we love it for a reason. And it happens every season. There's always players that get drafted right at the end. And all of a sudden, they become this known player within the tier and then within the league. So anything can happen. If you're the last pick, second to last pick, or the last round, don't be disheartened at all. I can't remember the player who it was, but I remember a few seasons ago, someone was the last pick, and I think they end up being player of the season, or at least up there. So anything can happen. Just do your best and really show why you should have been drafted earlier. Or maybe you just weren't known. Maybe you just didn't get to try out. So anything can happen. But everyone in the Challenger tier has been drafted. So best of luck to you all. And remember to check your message requests just in case management has messaged you. You know, just in case your messages go through the requests. You never know. It happens.
Yeah, if you want to remove bots potentially spamming your DMs in Discord, that's of course one way to go about it. But I think, yeah, this is of course the last people that have been drafted for Challenger for that 60 pounds prize pool, of course. And I think with that, we can go to a small break as well, as we have to prepare ourselves for Prospect, which is yet, of course, another league. We have 2 more leagues to go. Prospect and Academy, the last dress of this season so far, but definitely still worth staying around for.
100%. And, well, you don't want to see enough of me. You've had enough of me today and yesterday. So I'll leave you all to it. You can enjoy Prospect and Academy. Not too sure if you're staying on, if we've got new faces on the stream, but I'm sure the chat will be well looked after. Remember, check your messages for Discord invite servers. And again, best of luck to all the new players to the league. Welcome to the RSC. That's been myself, Buddha, and Stealthy Wolf co-casting with me. We'll see you back for Prospect.
I never know when to go. Don't even talk, but you sleep in my clothes. No, it ain't right. I've been stressing the night. We're together, but I feel alone. How long do I stand here in the fire? How long do I try before I'm on my own? How long do I walk across the wire? Stay till we fall. We don't know how to act. We get chaotic and say things we wanna take back. Is there a reason that we're still together? How long do we stand here in the fire? How long do we try before we're on our own? How long do we walk across the wire? Stand till we fall.
I'm the storm that meets the moon. I'm the sun that will not move. Do you think you are? Who do you think you
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back for the draft, of course, of Prospect. I'm still here, Stealthy Wolf, and of course, with me, I got the myth, the man, the legend, Shadow Fusion, the German rival player. And he said that he's bad at waffling, so that's why we got him back, of course. How are you doing, Shadow?
Exactly. I am
Exactly?
still doing exceptionally well. Yeah, exactly. Nah, Stealthy Wolf, obviously an upgrade to Char. I just didn't want to tell Char earlier on. So now I can. I love my gold Stealthy Wolf. I think we casted before, right? For a DSQ team stream?
It could be. I mean, I've done so much over the years, Shadow. I legit don't remember anything.
okay.
Like, I've been around since 2020, or actually 2019 is when I did my first big cast with Danny Boy still at the time and such. So ever since then, yeah, I've done so much that I honestly don't remember sometimes. But yeah,
Well,
Mr. Exactly
normally I
still
am.
here.
Yeah. Now normally I'm behind. I'm behind the cameras, and this time
Mhm.
I'm not. So I don't have that many casts. But we are
Yeah, but the
not here
suits
for us
suits
waffling,
you well.
obviously. Oh, thank you. Also, the suit suits me also well, I think.
Mhm.
But yeah, we're not here for waffling. We're here for the draft, and I
Yeah,
think
that's true.
that
And
if Mel is ready, you can start.
yeah, we can start. And the first pick for round 5 is Nexus for Brave Esports, coming at 1505. Is a player that has been in this. My English is hard for a second, Shattered. I mean, you're not going to do worse than me at this point.
We try. Chills, on the other hand, pick 82 by God Alliance, 1485 CMV. He is coming back from a win last season with Team Yokai, and he will be on the mid end of the team, so it looks like he will actually be kept, which is also a good thing because he's a very good player, as he won the tier.
Yeah, and next up we have Malino 1945. I hope that's not his birth year, but maybe it might be. We never know. Coming in at 1465, right? Yeah, towards the lower end, I think it will be of prospect, but good rounding out the team.
And next up, Team MPB picking up a Rex 1525 CMV. If he is the Rex I'm thinking of, he actually played with me before as a sub. If he's a different Rex, then I don't think he has been in the league before, but I'm not 100% sure which one it is. Anyways, good pick up by MPB.
Yeah, next we have a new player to the entire RSC competition. We have RXV coming in at 1485 for Nexus Esports, right in the middle, kind of in that gap that has not been filled yet. So maybe they got the pick that they wanted after all.
Yeah, Team Berserkers picking up Thirsk, also kinda in the middle, where no one else has been currently. He is also a long-standing player. He played before in Season 9, so he's also hopefully doing what he's knowing what he's doing.
Yeah, next we have Fluoster, which is quite the Dutch name as you sound. Made it like if it was audible from my pronunciation as well. Of course, like as a Belgian dude, similar to Fluoster, coming in at 1465. We know, of course, what is going to happen. He's going to try and dominate the league, but we'll see how he does.
Next up, Azteca pick up Mesh 56E. No one calls him that. It's our goat. Mesh 1540 CMV. He has won the league before in Season 5. Only the OGs and Angs remember. He was All-Star back in that season. So a very good player, at least back in the day. Let's see how he does now.
Shadow already making yeah. You don't have to expose it. I'm old, okay. Next up, we have pick 89. Yeah, for Lyr going in at 1480 for Neat Esports.
And illusory pick 90. Alex is not true, so maybe they don't pick him. We don't know. But all I know is that Alex is not true. Has 1495 CMV and is a new player to the league. But maybe it's also not true. We never know.
Yeah, next one is going to be a hard one, Shattered. I think it will have to be Choose. I might be wrong. Coming in at 1460, new players to the entire competition as well for Team Vortic. Towards that, mid to lower end, kind of course, of the tier. So maybe potentially as a third or potential sub as well.
And Shadow Esports making it hard, picking the 1555 CMV player, Luke Vidal. I would reckon that's pronounced something like that. Luke Vidal.
I think it's an abbreviation, like probably Luke as in like his name, and then the Dutch, last name kind of thing. But then we have 5BD, also a new player, coming at 1485. Yes, Shadow, you tried. I know. I appreciate you trying. I understand the struggle. It's what we all go through. You have to see it this way. It's training to get used to saying weird names on stream. Maybe you can be a caster after all.
Trabando, on the other hand, 1445 CMV picked up by Bro, is not helping me because that name is actually very nice to pronounce. And also a very nice pickup by Bro because he's very low on the CMV scale and the only one there, so he has a good chance to stay on the team.
Yeah, next up we have Marsek97 coming in at 1495. Towards that mid-end, of course, of entire prospect, it's going up and up. It's crazy to me to even think about the fact that 1495 is the middle of prospect, but nice rounding out that team, being a solid mid-pick for them.
Yep. Pro Esports picking up Absolute 1445 CMV. I think he actually signed up last season already, if I remember correctly, but didn't end up on the team, so not completely new. But now has a chance to probably stay on the team.
Yeah, next up we have Jay for the side of Dexterity. That's of course your organization, Shattered. You probably have a reason for this. We all know that you always overthink everything, right? It's a German over-engineering pick at 1500 at the same CMV as Tilted Waffle.
Unfortunately, the actual German player is now getting picked. Because I'm not that overthinking that pick because Big Chaps was doing that. But Das Brot, as he's actually called, 1445 CV, picked up by Aspire. He got second in league play last season, but didn't end up that well in playoffs, unfortunately, only 7th.
Yeah, and then of course we have Hacky, a well-known face, of course, in the entire community, coming at 1470 for Unitox. Obviously a keeper pick, obviously gonna try and do his best to be the best up he can be.
And a last pick for round 5 in Prospect is Kuros 1470 CMV by SCR, also a keeper pick. Otherwise, no one would pick him up anyways. No, just kidding. Nah.
Shattered.
Kuros. I think I actually played with him before. Not too sure. Nice player though. He's also nice personality, right? Everything is nice besides if you want to pick him up, because no one would do that. But you can go through the summary if you want.
There's a thing called "Don't burn your bridges before they're built," and you already did that. Good job. So yeah, round 5, we of course have 20 new picks: Nexus, Chills, Malino, Rex, RXV, Sursk, Fluester, Mesh, Lair, Alex, Juice, Luke, 58B, 5BD, wow, that's hard, Trabando, Marzek, Absolute J, Das Brot, Heki, and Kuros as the 100th pick, of course, for Prospect. But we still have a little bit more to go, at least one more round, fully shattered. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen next.
Yeah, first pick of the second round of the day for Prospect will be 1445 CMV by SCR Esports. What a name, Red Man Scoop. He has played in ERS before, I think. Not in RSC. So interesting to see how he holds up here, because ERS is some time ago, to be fair.
Shadow, did you plan this? Did you know I was going to be speaking at this point? Is this an attack on me? Come
I
on,
might or
man.
might not. Nah.
Oh.
I just wanted to kind of describe how I felt about Kuros, right? But I wanted you to say it so it's not that obvious. On the other hand, the Greek build 2006, I think that's a better birth year than 1945, hopefully. 1480 CMV picked by SYR, pick 103. And I know that we wanted him as a sub last season, but didn't manage to, so I think he's a good player.
And next we have Ninja Knight coming 93 coming in at 1480. Yeah, right at a good spot as well. A little bit higher than Haki, a little bit lower than Voodoo. Potential good third pick maybe for the team as well.
For sure. Chrome Esports next. Picking up a Robo with 1480 CMV. He will probably be better linked with my fellow German Towel Bro, so I'm actually not rooting for him, but in generally I'm always rooting for every player. Just kidding. Robo will do great.
What is this name? We have Cutie Pie going at 1500. Beautiful characters there. Shut what are we doing, man? Oh.
That's you. I'm not helping you on that name.
No, Cutie
Bro,
Pie,
on the other
Cutie
hand.
Pie.
Yeah, just call him Cutie Pie. Bro, on the other hand, they make it easy for me. Jake's the Snake. 1505 CMV. I really hope for him. New player, by the way, so he has to prove now that he's not a snake and actually has hands. But that's what preseason is for.
Yeah, and a new face to the entire community as well is Francis coming at 1560, quite a high player, highest yet on the team for DCE. So maybe he might be the high player that they're looking for if Kincaid does not seem to be matching well with the other players they picked.
Team Berserkers on pick 109, picking up one Gyps on 1505 CMV, not to be confused with J-Whips in Elite. I think Gyps only played once last season at Kulta. Not sure about before, but yeah.
Yeah, next up we have the hard B player, probably hard ball, likes to boom the ball around, 1510, right in that middle section with GM667 and Team Vortic.
Illusory have pick 111, and they decided to pick Trex_Dino on 1485 CMV. I mean, they have quite a lot of players already, to be fair. I don't actually know, is it a lot? My brain doesn't work properly at the moment. But he has good mates with Mel, obviously, best player in the league and best broadcaster in the league.
And before he cuts away your entire feed, Shattered. Yeah, no. Next up, we have Komiri coming at 1550. A new player again in the entire scene. It's been so much this evening that I've said there's a new player. But hey, good to see so many new faces.
And next up, Azteca Esports picking up Eddie 1475, also not to be confused with the other Eddie, which is written with a 3 in front. This is a solely new Eddie and probably also a better Eddie. So I see no problem with him battling for a proper spot on Azteca.
Next up, it is Mistaken Esports taking up Stork RL coming in at 1460. Yeah, about that same region as Fluistar, maybe like the alternative in case Fluistar does not seem to be matching well. But Stork definitely does have his chance to prove himself in this early season.
Next up, we have Shadow Esports picking up Nhammer 31 on 1550 CMV. So quite a lot of people in that range picked, but also I don't see any higher players, so probably they will keep a few of those. So Nhammer has a proper chance to stay on the roster.
Yeah, next up for Nexus Esports, we have Charles Affair coming in at 1480. Used to play on your franchise in the past, Shattered, on Dexterity. Played quite the season back in season 16. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what he can do for Nexus.
Yeah, he even was my AGM last season. But yeah, not anymore this season, as you saw, because he's not on my franchise. On the other hand, Team MPB, they pick up NT, also not their AGM. I actually forgot the CMV, but all I know is that he hasn't been on the team yet before. In RSC, he played in ERS though.
And next up, we have basically what you are, Shattered, basically crazy, coming in at 1480. You make up what you are. Are you basically crazy or are you 1480? But yeah, nice last pick. Last pick. I'm saying last pick, but nice pick from DSQ as well.
Next up, God Alliance, they pick Lucas 1485 CMV, same CMV as Chills. But other than Chills, he did not win last season, but he played last, I think, in season 13 on a team. So we got freshly new winner versus old long-standing player.
Yeah, and last pick of round 6, we have for Brave Esports, Corvise, coming at 15-15. Nice combination of numbers, coming in at that middle section, fighting against Ozorn for probably that second man spot in the roster. And I think that is the end of round 6, Shattered. Any interesting people that you're seeing here or that you think like might be a hidden gem for the teams that have chosen them?
I think, just for the name, Jake's the Snake is probably my favorite here, besides obviously Saki's Saka. I mean, he's on my franchise, he's obviously the best here because we choose the best players. But I'm also looking forward to see the Greek build because he played last, I remember, he was in the academy, so I'm happy to see that he moved up to prospect, and I'm interested to see how we will perform here. And also, obviously, I do follow my prior AGMs, especially if there are other franchises. So Charles, I'm obviously also interested to see how he does. Also academy last season, so he ranked up quite a bit.
And that's always lovely to see, of course, people going up in that rank. We've been stuck in rival for quite a while, Shattered. Maybe we need to get good and also do the same thing and go up to elite, huh? What do you think?
I'm here since like 4 or 5 seasons. There's no, I'm stuck for life.
Same, brother. Don't worry. I've once was elite and then I dropped back down, and ever since then I've been stuck. So yeah, not gonna change for quite a while. But what is going to change for quite a while is, of course, the last rounds of the prospect draft. You still have a couple of players to be picked, and the first one to be picked in round 7 is Tom Basti, coming in at 1485 for Brave Esports.
Tom Basti also a known player. On the other hand, at least if my brain is not trolling me, we have another pick.
Do we?
Ah, there we go.
Yes.
God Alliance, they actually are allowed to pick a player, and they pick Hazy, one of those two combinations, RL, 1480 CMV. They also have quite a lot of players in that range, so interesting to see how that roster will end up.
Yeah, and the final pick for DSQ Esports is Baby Hacks, coming in at 1490, new player to the entire... Why are you blinking, huh, Shattered? Did you not like my pronunciation?
Baby Hex is a funny name.
Okay, fair enough. But again, new face to the entire community.
Yeah, also a new face, Dendo, picked up by Team MPB, 1515 CMV. That's actually quite interesting range because besides maybe Rex, they don't really have someone in that range. So also they're interested to see how they will put their roster together.
Well, similar to that, we of course have Jingo 6 here as well. Also a new player coming in at 1540, basically has to fight Potter for that top spot. So it will definitely be hard. Potter, of course, also a well-known person, of course, in the entire community. So he will have to prove himself and show him why he deserves a spot.
Shadow having the penultimate pick, and they decide to choose the God her, the Jade her. One of say how you want, a new player to the league, and you have the last pick of Prospect.
Yeah, the last pick for Prospect is Joey T minus J, coming at 1540. Yeah, not all the way at the top, but near that top range, of course, as well, for Mistaken Esports as well. And I was gonna say, yeah, we have a lot of picks that we don't know in this last round, but I guess Joey is the only exclusion here, and Tom Bassi, of course, as well. I forgot about that one. But yeah, very short round. 7 people picked in round 7, meaning that there's little less competition, of course, within every organization, but it doesn't mean, of course, that your spot is safe. Prospects, keep in mind, you need to play well in preseason if you want to stay on the team.
And especially looking at both Joe TJ and Jing06 being very high people to get picked last. And as we talked about before, last season we had a player of the season who was picked last round, or was it even last player? I'm not sure actually. Even though it was talked about so many times, I forgot already. But that's just normal Shattered things. But as always, being picked last does not mean that you're a bad player. It just means people either don't know enough about you, or that like you didn't attend tryouts, or they think you're hidden gems and no one picks them away anyways. As we have a lot of proof, being picked late does not mean you don't get a team, and those players are here to prove exactly that.
Yeah, exactly, Shattered. And that basically rounds out, of course, the prospect draft that we had tonight. All the players have now been divided into teams, and they get to fight for that £40 prize pool, of course. Still, there's going to be a lot of things that happen before that. We, of course, have the entire preseason. You have to be able to stick to that team, and then, of course, move on to the actual league play, and then into playoffs if you want to, of course, win it. Are there anything else that you want to give to the prospects before we take a small break again and hand over to Academy, the last tier of tonight?
I mean, don't take too seriously what I said about you. And other than that, I'm a big fan of Kuros. But Stealth Wolf is better. And about Mel, I'm not too sure. It's my last tier for the day, so now I can actually say something bad about Mel, because I don't have to talk to him again today. Nah, Mel is the best producer.
Okay, so Shattered basically ranks himself below Mal, already admitted as well that he's a
100%.
professional waffler and sometimes has some meme stuff, but hey, that's why we love Shattered, right? You're still a gem in your own right, Shattered. Lovely to have you here as well. Thank you for helping. And I think with that, we of course have to head to Academy after a small break, because they are waiting on hot coals, as we like to say in Belgium, to see where they go, as the last players still need to be picked.
This isn't just merch, it's what teams wear when they mean business. Every stitch, every print, every detail, made to perform. Trusted by the grind, from grassroots to championship halls. Build your team store. Wear the brand that wins. SpartanWare, trusted by the grind.
This is Trophi.ai, an AI Rocket League coach, and it's absolutely crazy what you can do with this. If you've ever heard of ballchasing.com, it's a lot like that, but on steroids.
You can press P and a pro demo will come up, and this is what's so cool and so unique about Trophi, is that this is not seen anywhere else, and it's just a great way to kind of show you how to do a training pack without having to side by side watch a YouTube video.
And this is actually really cool. Training paths. So you basically, you know the skill trees from Assassin's Creed, Spider-Man, Sekiro, you know that sort of games where you have to, you know, get skill points, use them, you unlock new skills. This is sort of very similar, but instead of actually getting skill points, you're actually doing the mechs. And also a cool feature as well, guys, watch this. You can slow it down. You can actually slow-mo it like this. So if you're really struggling, what you need to do, you can actually look for yourself and just have a look at the exact sort of movements that you're doing there. Look, it's really cool. I really like it. And
alongside helping with mechanics, it also has a feature that analyzes any of your saved replays. That way you can see what you're doing well and what you need to improve on. It even has this cool post-game analysis that you can see stats from the game you just played.
I'm the storm that meets the moon. I'm the silent wind that moves. Who you think you are? Who you think you
Well, what a day it has been. We've seen picks all over the place in 5 tiers so far, and now it is time to close out the draft stream, close out the Academy tier, and, well, set things up for the preseason. Veiled, joining alongside me once again here. How's it going, and how's the day been so far?
Yeah, pretty good day. We've gotten through 5 of the 6 tiers now. Only have the best tier, perhaps, left to unveil who's gonna get picked. It's not because you're in it, Hodge. Let me just say that. But it is a good tier. It is a great tier, perhaps. And we are gonna get almost straight into it. But before then, we do have the prize pool once again on our screen here, sponsored by anyone from the community who gives anything back money-wise, and that is greatly appreciated. But also, it's also greatly appreciated that you just tune in and give us some great viewer numbers and really just share with the community who's gonna get picked and all the hype around it. So a big thank you to the community for all of this. And I think without further ado, Hutch, take us into the draft.
Yeah, I've been told that this is a very hyped up pick, and it is SCR Esports picking Andre for their first pick of round 5, 1400. You know, a lot of history behind Andre in RSC, and, well, some direct competition there for Yitri Kid for that. You'd have to imagine high player spot here for SCR Esports.
Yep. And he is not the first pick of the first day, but he's the first pick of the second day. And next up is, I still don't know how to say it. I still pronounce it Skiko, but it might be Psycho Logic. A player that has had great defensive moments back in the day. 1330 value. He's going to be great pickup from Dexterity if they choose to keep him. And I'm sure that he's at least going to be considered in that position.
Yeah, now it's one of the new players being picked up here. It's JGriff17 going over to Aspire for 1200. He was at a couple of my tryouts for MPB and he played all right. And I think Aspire are going to have a great pickup in him. But moving on, we've got Unitox with their next pick. It is, however you say it, is it Liciano? Liciano, we're going to go with that for 1240. And well, you can see the lineup there on the left-hand side of your screen. That's a stack lineup and going to have a tough time competing.
Yeah, I think that Unitox is going to be one for the title this season. And next up, however, Chrome Esports going to be picking up Jake's 2748 at 1200, making that fourth player on their team here, looking to round it out with that low CMV pick. Next up, however, it's going to be Team Serene, and they're going to be picking up Calv is Epic at 1270 CMV. And if he truly is epic, that might be a great team on their hands right there.
Yeah, certainly it might be. And moving on to Bro for their pick of round 5, it is going to be Entropy for 1325. Not a name I personally recognize, but for 1325, you know, there's not really a whole lot of players around that value. So I guess to have that uniqueness about you certainly is going to stand out for some of these franchises.
Yep, next up, Death Cloud. They're going to be picking up Allied Squire at 1280. And he's going to slot in, and he's probably going to have to fight with Torga for that spot on that roster. However, I'm noticing they don't really have a low CMV player yet. I don't know if that's the greatest strategy I've
They've
seen,
got
but
Space Crisp.
it is a strategy.
And
Oh,
they've
yeah,
got
right.
Keeper. Yeah. Moving on, we've got Team Berserkers with Yalla Gut 12 for 1405 for a pretty high pick for them, going alongside a couple of already high players in Shadow and Jim Jams. So it's tough at the top there for Berserkers, but Bassi is going to go to Team Vortic here for their round 5 pick. And 1255, I mean, you know, Bassi, a player that you know, are good for the value.
Yep, next up, Illusory. They're going to be picking up A1CER, Acer, at 1280 CMV. It's going to be almost guaranteed a spot on that team, I believe, unless team caps are completely different from last season. But it looks like he is in a good spot to make the team there. Next up, however, it's going to be Neat Esports.
Yeah, Neat Esports or Nate, just Tawny 1345 going to be the pickup from them. I mean, you can see the stack lineup they've got on the left-hand side of your screen. They're a good day one draft from them. And to add to it is going to be just Tawny.
Yep, next up, Azteca. They're going to be picking up Ahmed 121 at 1380 CMV. And he's going to be slotting in, probably having to fight with GT Thunder. And I believe Ahmed might be new in the league, so it's going to be interesting to see if he can perform better than GT Thunder.
Well, next up, it is Good Aliens. I know there's going to be a certain someone in a Watch Party VC who's very happy that this has gone his way. Masters gets what he wanted, and it will be Kaji Hokori going over to Good Aliens there for that 5th round pick. Now it's Shadow, though, and it's their keeper pick, Much Chuck for 1250.
Yep, and he's a great player for his value. Made the grand final 2 seasons ago, despite a little roster shake in the end. He's a great player, he's a great guy, and the owner of the league. Next up, however, it's going to be Tzazik getting picked up by Nexus here at 1255. Just like Mudchuck, he's going to be fitting in at that 3rd highest CMV if he is picked on his team.
Yeah, a caster who has joined the league now. I mean, I did that last season, and it was fun. So I hope he has a good season. But over to MPB's pick, and well, my franchise has gone for Lucy, a player who's had some success in previous seasons. I was told back in like RSC8 or something. So good addition there, and some good experience.
Yep. Next up, DSQ is going to pick up Tren. Interesting name he decided to go with there at 1230, also in the lower end. A lot of teams looking to build that bottom third of their roster come preseason here. So a lot of battle gonna be going on for that spot on those teams. Next up, however, it's gonna be Gedalians with pick number 99.
Yeah, Gedalians with their next pick, and it's going to be Eben One Venter for 12.35. Another one of these lower players that just gives them some more flexibility at the bottom of their sort of academy picks. But now over to Brave, and it's going to be 3 in a row.
Yep, 3 in a row.co.uk. A name I've been seeing a lot of seasons in a row now. 1380, gonna be picked up by Brave Esports.
Is it more than 3 in a row?
Yeah, probably. And he's going to have to compete with Buckets for a spot on that team. And that will summarize our round 5 of the Academy draft pick of season 17. And just to go through it, it was Andre being picked up, then Skiko, then Jay Griff, then Lisiano, then Jakes, then Calv is Epic, then Entropy, then Allied Squire, then Halagot, then Bassi, then Acer, then Just Tawny, then Ahmed, then Kaji Hokori, then Mutz, then Tasik, then Lucci, then Tren, then Ibeni Venture, then 3 in a row.co.uk. And the further down we get on these academy picks, the harder these names are going to be to pronounce, I believe.
Oh, yes. That's always how it usually works, at least. So why don't we go ahead and jump into round number 6 and see if that is going to be the case here, because we've still got a whole load of picks to get through. And, well, the first pick of round 6 is going to be for Brave, and they're going to pick up Misty Dragon for 13.05. Had, not the season he would have wanted last time on Sanctuary, going to be looking to reignite a spark here on Brave.
Yeah, he's going to be slotting in on a team, of course, playing from the SSA region, having a little bit of a ping debuff, but I think his CMV has fallen a little bit compared to last season, so maybe that will help him out. Now, next up, however, is going to be Gedalians picking up Crapel Magellis at 1235 CMV, and there is also already a bit of competition for that spot, but next up, however, it's going to be DSQ. I think Hodge's mic might have cut out, but it is Catch Sorek Kaka at 1365 getting picked up. I don't know if you can hear Hodge. I cannot hear Hodge. Okay, I'll just keep it going. We have A11 Ice or LEC maybe at 1200 being picked up by MPB. Finally deciding to pick up a min CMV player. Just let me talk whenever you think I can hear you again, Hodge. Next up is Nexus Esports picking up Mikali DK 1200 CMV, and that is going to be also the first mid CMV being picked up by Nexus here. So starting to round out their teams a little bit here. Next up, pick number 106 is going to be Shadow Esports picking up Source at 1395, who I believe also is working on RSC in the back end. Might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he has at least had some impact with the background makings of RSC, and he's going to be joining Shadow Esports for this season. And I still can't hear Hutch. He's completely gone. But next up is Mistaken being picking up Zioin at 1310 CMV here. I'm going to probably have to compete with Ahmed for that spot, I believe. And next up, Azteca, going to pick up YN Misty at 1370 CMV. Another one for competition for that spot on the roster. They now have 3 people around the same CMV who's going to have to fight tooth and nail for that spot. Actually, 4 people, my bad. I didn't take into account the new player being added. We have Hodge.
There we go.
Masterclass.
I thought if you paid this much for a mic, you would expect it to work, but here we go. McMain for 1200 there. I'm not sure if you've already talked about it, but here we go. Going over to Nate Esports there. Moving on to Illusory Veiled, we've got Kaz for 1335.
Yep. I don't know too much about him, but if he's playing like Jazz, who I heard was playing pretty good, then he might be a really great pickup. It's 1335, the first one off his CMV value on this team. Maybe he can make the cut, maybe not. It depends on how their draft lines up and how their performance shapes up. But next up, however, is Team Vortic picking up Crimes.
Yeah, Crime's going to be going over to Team Vortic there for 1400. A player who I've heard a lot about, and a lot of good things as well. So going over to Vortic, great pickup for them. Team Berserkers next on the docket for them is going to be Lucario 22 for 14.25. This is where we're starting to see a lot of those higher players get picked away here, Veiled, and some good competition for some of those, household names like Jim Jams there for the likes of Team Berserkers. But now Deathcloud are going to have their keeper pick. It is going to be Space Crisp for 1200, and that fills out their sort of roster quite nicely with some of those previous picks you can see on the left-hand side of your screen.
Yep, like we talked about just a moment ago, they were missing that 1200 player, but it doesn't really matter when you have a keeper pick that is going to slot in very nicely there. Next up, however, it's going to be Bro Community picking up Crolex 5666 at 1375 CMV here, and he's going to slot in straight in the middle between Demo and I can't remember what that 1400 was called. It disappeared right in front of my face. Next up, however, the next keeper pick is going to be Vice at Team Serene, a very nice man that I've spoken with quite a couple of times myself, and happy to see him back as a GM for Team Serene. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure they're running it back with the same management as last season, where they did end up winning franchise of the season for the first time. Next up, however, it's Chrome Spot picking up Pure Skill, someone who I actually played against in my first season of playing, and he hasn't gone up much in CMV, but he has still been regarded as a great player in this tier.
Some would say purely skillful. But moving on, we've got Pringle Guy for 1200 here, going over to Unitox. And you know what? Who doesn't love Pringles?
Yeah, I mean, I do. It's great. Except for the couple in the bottom that are crumbled, it's not that good. But next up is going to be Aspire picking up Dreads at 1325. Gonna be competing against Loopy in that CMV range, someone who I had the pleasure of teaming with at the end of last season. So gonna be tough for Dreads, but maybe he is able to break through to that main roster.
Maybe, we'll see. But Banana Peels will be going over to Dexterity for that 1200 value. And I mean, they didn't have a 1200 player. They had 1215, but now it gives them a little bit more flexibility with that CMV and what they want to do with it. But next up for SCR Esports will be the 1390 of Crimson. And you know what? If it wasn't already getting competitive enough at the top with Andre and Yetri, then why don't we add Crimson into the mix as well?
Yep. They're really gonna be putting in that competition at the top end, but it might be a bit too late to get those top picks, as we are already in round 6. So I'm not sure if they're gonna be having the best of the best competing with each other, but they are gonna have players competing with each other, and that will give you options. However, we do have a round 6 to go through summarize, and I took the last one. Hodge, do you want to take us through this round?
Yeah, I'm also it's wild that the draft decides. My mic decides to cut out when my brother gets drafted, so he's not last this season. I drafted him myself to make sure of that, but yeah, if you've got nepotism, you've got to use it. Misty Dragon pick 101, then pick 102. I'm not going to read all the numbers out. It's Crapel, Magalus, Zorek, Kaka, Elize, Mitchell, I don't know, Michael, I don't know, Source, Sion, Misty, McMain, Kaz, Crimes, Lucario 22, Banana Peels, Crimson, Space Crisp, Crolex, Vice, Pure Skill, Pringle Guy, Drads. I've already read some of the ones at the bottom. I didn't read it in the correct order, but who cares? The players are drafted. We've locked in. GG's. Round 7. Let's go.
Great job there, Hodge. You almost messed up on some of those names, but you made it through in the end. Next up, however, in round 7 is going to be Ginger Nut being picked up at 1325. I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit surprised to see him go this late, despite him playing on a great team last season. But he is going to be picked up, and it's by SCR. This time, not a max CMV player to compete at the top, but it's going to be slotting in more so in the middle this time. Next up, however, it's going to be Dexterity.
Yeah, Dexterity going to be picking away Miaj Lovict. I don't know, we'll go with that for 1325. And don't laugh at me, Vale, because you wouldn't have done any better of a job with that one. But let's see if you can with this one, because it's Aspire with their next pick.
Yeah, and I believe it is Simo IGT at 1200 CMV. So a little bit of competition for that bottom end. I don't know if I did it good enough for your entertainment there, Hodge, but maybe you can do better with this Unitox pick here. It's gonna be an easy one for you.
Yeah, happily. Miles 9 going over to Unitox, and a player who came to one of my tryouts. I think he understands the game quite a lot, and that's something that's very valuable for a 1200 player.
Yep. And next one is going to be Chrome Esports. I believe that's going to be pronounced Unreal at 1440, which I believe is max in Academy this season. So going to be a bit difficult to build a team around, but maybe he can prove that he's good enough for them to actually do so. Next up, however, it's Team Serene, and good luck with that name, Hutch.
It's MJRL phonetic. There we go. See, easy. 1375 going over to Team Serene, and you know what? Considering we're at a point now where there's not too many of those mid-range players left, it's a great pickup there for Serene. Moving over to Bro Community though, they've gone for Tokush for 1300. Didn't struggle that one too much either, Veiled.
Yeah, maybe it's Touch, who knows. But 1300 exactly, and it's going to be slotting in nicely on that team. Next up, however, DevCloud, pick number 128. Fancy font being used, but I believe it's Kalim or Khalim at 1200. I don't know. I saw a crazy font in prospect picks, but it's Khalim being picked up at 1200.
Yeah, I saw that.
Going to be competing against the GM at DevCloud there. Next up, however, is Team Berserkers, pick 129. And it's going to be Flaky at 1420. Some of those high CMV players getting saved for last year.
Yeah, I was talking to him in the VC beforehand. He was saying, I don't know where I'm going to get picked to here. Well, Berserkers is the destination, Flaky. And, well, as we move on to Vortic's next pick, see if they've gone for. They've gone for Brady for 1410, long-standing player in RSC. And you know what I'm noticing about this Vortic draft is there's quite a few people who are very high here. So the competition at the top of that team is going to be ridiculous. There's like 5 people who are 1390 and higher. But moving on, we've got Illusory's next pick. It is Cloudsy for 1440. And well, when we look at this year, it's once again another case of picking away some of these higher players here, Veiled.
Yep, next up, it's going to be Neat Esports picking up Lostinasen at 1315. Or Lostinasen, I don't know. Good luck, but I don't know. 1315.
Good luck whoever you are.
And the first one in the middle of the CMV of Academy, and yeah, good luck in pre-season. I hope it's going to be easier for you to play than pronouncing your name. Next up, however, is Azteca picking up BPOVI 03 at 1375. Also has quite a little bit of competition on that team with Misty, Ahmed, Crazy, and I can't remember the last name. But next up, Mistaken Esports.
Oh, how are we going to go with this one? Congratulations to Skugnizo here, 1200 value for getting drafted to Mistaken Esports. I hope the preseason goes well once again. Same for all of these players. But moving on, it is a crusty cow, 1435 Shadow Esports. And yeah, and just another one of these higher players who's been sort of safe to last, but getting picked away and could add a bit of an extra element of chaos here to some of these already picked players.
Also a caster, I believe, casting for Godalians on the first day streams, and also casting in the royalty series as well. But next up is going to be Pixie Poppins at 1435. Someone who's been around for quite a bit of 6 months and just overall sitting in the VCs of RSC. A bit surprised to see her go that late, but she is going to be picked up nonetheless. But next up is going to be your franchise, and they're going to be picking up MikeGfuel.com. Dropping an ad in the middle of his name is crazy work.
Yeah, MikeGfuel.com going to be the pick there for MPB. But moving forward, it is Special Eddie for 1270 for DSQ. And you know what? For a 1270 value, I think at this point you're just looking for either value players or players to sort of give competition who might pop off at the top spots. So anything is, you'll just take it at this point, right, Veiled? Moving forward, though, into the final few picks, we have Juho TZKI123. I'm just going to spell them out letter by letter at this point, but 1200.
Juhotsky, I believe.
Okay, thanks.
And next up, Brave Picking up OG Parser at 1200 as well, slotting into that min value. Gonna be competing with Brave SW, the only competition he has, so maybe he will have an easy time onto that roster. That will conclude our 7th round. And while I go through them, I'll just let you know we have 2 more picks. So a 50-50 chance, if you haven't been mentioned yet, that you might be the last pick of Academy, which might hurt a little bit, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you won't make a team. The summary is, however, Ginger not being picked up first in this round, followed by Mihaj Lovikode, followed by Simoy GT, followed by Miles, then Unreal, then MJ, RLF, Netic, then followed by Tox, then Khalim, then Flaky, then Brady, then Cloudseed, then Lost in a Sin, then BP, Bpovi, then Skogneso, then Krusty Cow, then Pixie Poppins, then Mike G Fuel, then Special Eddie, then Juhotsky, and then OG Parser.
Yep, a very sort of stacked lineup when it comes to interesting names and on the field as well, hopefully, as they look to show that in preseason. But why don't we just go ahead and jump in to our final 2 picks here? We've got a couple more left to go. It's Brave Esports with the penultimate pick of the draft here in RSC17. It's McTyler21 as the last min player to be taken away here. 1200, and going alongside an already interesting lineup there with some of the players you can see on the left. But now for the final pick of the draft, going over to Death Cloud Esports Veiled, it is going to be Yulti for 1440.
Yeah, and I believe last season we also had quite a high. No. Actually, I'm completely lying. Your brother was picked last season, and he was min.
Yep,
But
I
this
got him
time
on for
we're
an
gonna
interview.
have actually a max CMV player gonna be picked up last in Academy. But I think Tino also got picked pretty late on, and he still made a team as soon as preseason ended. So it doesn't necessarily mean you can't
Round
make a
7.
team. It's just gonna be that people don't know you, and if you perform in preseason, you might just be picked up by a team, not necessarily the one you got drafted to, but you might be able to make a team anyways. And let's be honest, the competition in Academy is not the highest. So if you just improve throughout this next 2 weeks, you will have a great chance of getting onto a team. But that will conclude our Academy draft of this season. Hodge, I believe you have a couple of sponsors you want to mention throughout this
I do.
this slide here.
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, thank you everybody for watching the stream. Obviously, the draft streams are RSC's biggest streams always throughout the season. They bring in the most viewers. They generate the dosh, and they help provide some of this prize pool as well as the sponsors as well. So thank you to our sponsors: Badass Studios, SpartanWare, Trophi.ai, and of course, if you are buying anything in the Epic Games Store, please make sure to use code RSC-EU in the store to make sure that we get a little bit of the money from some of your purchases as well. Not me and Vale, that would be too nice, but you know, moving forward, we also have the RSC shop, and we don't have our model today. We don't have Mal rocking the jumper, but we do have the link there at the bottom that you can. Well, actually, we don't have the link, but we do have a website which you can go to, which is RSC. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure of the URL, but I'm sure you'll find it somewhere. It's got some merch on. It's very cool. Make sure you go and buy it. So when you win RSC and come and do the interview, you know, you're dressed in all the gear, and you are ready to go and collect your meal deal from Tesco's if you're in Academy in style. But yeah, it's been a good draft stream here, apart from somebody's mic cutting out and some interesting fonts. But any final thoughts here, Veiled, before we send things off?
Yeah, we thanked our sponsors, but also just want to give a special thanks to Masters, Vips, Phoenix, and Stones for gifting subs throughout these last 2 draft streams. You are what make this community. Also, everyone who tunes in as well, as I've been saying throughout all the streams. But a special thank you to you all, and those 4 in particular for gifting subs throughout the stream, and anyone who has just dropped a normal sub as well. Big thank you to all of you. You are what makes this community exactly what it is. And I think that's it for me. If you want to have any couple closing words, then I'll give you the mic here.
No, I think that's pretty much all said and done. The players have been drafted to the teams, and now it's time to let it all unfold here on the pitch. We've got a couple of weeks of preseason. Following that, league play kicks off, and then the playoffs, well, they're going to be even sooner than before. A shorter season format, more seasons this year. RSC 2026 is only just getting started, and we can't wait to see you all on the field proving why you should be an RSC champion and vying for some of this prize pool. But that's for another day. That is for later on in the season. For now, we'll send you off and have an amazing evening. And when we come back next week, it's time to get started with the preseason. Hope everyone has a great rest of your evening. Good night.
This isn't just merch. It's what teams wear when they mean business. Every stitch, every print, every detail, made to perform. Trusted by the grind, from grassroots to championship halls. Build your team store. Wear the brand that wins. SpartanWare, trusted by the grind.
This is Trophi.ai, an AI Rocket League coach, and it's absolutely crazy what you can do with this. If you've ever heard of ballchasing.com, it's a lot like that, but on steroids.
You can press P and a pro demo will come up, and this is what's so cool and so unique about Trophi, is that this is not seen anywhere else, and it's just a great way to kind of show you how to do a training pack without having to side by side watch a YouTube video.
And this is actually really cool. Training paths. So you basically, you know the skill trees from Assassin's Creed, Spider-Man, Sekiro, you know that sort of games where you have to, you get skill points, use them, you unlock new skills. This is sort of very similar, but instead of actually getting skill points, you're actually doing the mechs. And also a cool feature as well, guys, watch this. You can slow it down. You can actually slow-mo it like this. So if you're really struggling, what you need to do, you can actually look for yourself and just have a look at the exact movements that you're doing there. Look, it's really cool. I really like it. And
alongside helping with mechanics, it also has a feature that analyzes any of your saved replays. That way you can see what you're doing well and what you need to improve on. It even has this cool post-game analysis that you can see stats from the game you just played.